Welcome to Steel Stories by US Steel. In this podcast, we explore the wealth of knowledge from leading industry experts to help you navigate the infinitely developing, renewable world of steel.
Well, welcome to a special edition of Steel Stories. I'm your host, David Kirkpatrick, and today we have an extremely interesting episode with two huge world leaders of the steel industry who are doing an important deal together, and they're here to talk about it. First, we have Takahiro Mori, who is vice chairman of Nippon Steel and oversees its global operations. And next to him is Dave Burritt, who is CEO of US Steel. Let's just start. I'd like to hear a little bit about you guys. Tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what your role is.
Okay. I'm representative director and vice chairman of Nippon Steel. I look after all the global businesses of Nippon Steel. And I joined Nippon Steel in 1983, so it's over 40 years now.
Wow, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you for telling us that. Dave.
Well, hi, I'm Dave Burritt, president and CEO of US Steel. We have operations in Europe as well as the United States. We have a North American flat roll business, a tubular business, a mini mill business, and then a business in Europe and Slovakia.
Nippon Steel is planning to buy US Steel. We're here to talk about that deal and help our viewers and listeners understand it better. So maybe, Dave, you could start by telling us, why did US Steel want to sell the company in the first place?
You know, that's a really good question. We actually get that question a lot, but I can tell you, we weren't looking to sell the company. That was not on our radar screen. We had been performing extraordinarily well. You know, if you look at the business some 10 years ago, we had been losing an average of $2 million a day for 5 years. And then we've made as much as $11 million a day with all-time records in safety and quality and delivery. And so we really felt good with where we were, and we were climbing this mountain of CapEx, putting in the best mini mill in the world with Big River Steel. And as we climbed that mountain of CapEx with a whole bunch of spend, we're coming over the hill, and then we got some unsolicited bids. And so what we decided that we'd run a process. We had a strategic process, which would include maybe we keep running the company. Our duty, our fiduciary duty, our legal obligation is to do what's in the best interest of stockholders. So as it turns out, what's in the best interest of stockholders is to sell to Nippon. We have a duty to do what's right for our stockholders.
So, Mori-san, tell us a little bit about why Nippon Steel wants to buy US Steel.
Nippon Steel's goal is to be the best steel maker with world-leading capabilities and to global capacity to 100 million tons. The United States is a great steel market with growing demand for high-grade, environmentally friendly steel that's domestic supply is available to meet. And we want to increase our investment in America and manufacture high-quality products here for the benefit of American customers. And Nippon Steel has long admired US Steel with deep respect for its rich history and talented workforce. And we believe we can jointly take on the challenge of raising our aspirations to even greater heights. This combination creates a significant value for both US Steel and Nippon Steel. And US Steel is a perfect fit for us to invest in steel market, expand capabilities, advance decarbonization, and protect and grow critical jobs. Simply said, with our combined resources and capabilities, the transaction enables us to move forward together as the best steelmaker in the world for the benefits of US Steel competitiveness, the broader American steel industry, and the many industry that rely on it.
Well, that's a wonderful explanation. So, Dave, what are the primary benefits of this partnership for US Steel and its stakeholders?
You know, I'd say this deal checks all the boxes. Well, obviously, it's great for the stockholders. You go across every single stakeholder, you can pretty much check the box on every one of these. Customers love this opportunity for us because we'll be able to make steels to advanced high-strength steels that we like to dream about with the additional investment that's forthcoming from Nippon Steel. It's not just good for stockholders and customers, but also for our employees. You think about this, investing in the U.S. basically provides greater opportunities, greater job security, which we haven't always been able to provide because of the deep cyclical nature that we go through in the United States. So we actually have somebody that has deeper pockets, a higher investment grade than what we have. And so it really positions it very well for...
So they can borrow money more cheaply, do more things.
Lower our weighted average cost of capital, in finance speak. And so it really positions itself very well. And then, of course, when you think about for the United States, what a great thing this is, because it actually strengthens national security. It strengthens economic security. And I already mentioned that it strengthens job security. This is remarkable. How often do we have technology transfer to the United States with the know-how that Nippon brings? They are the best of the best with the integrated mills. They're the best of the best with things like decarbonization and carbon capture. They've been doing this stuff for years. They are clear experts. And of course, that means it's great for the planet. So you go through all these, it's great for the planet, it's great for the country, it's great for our employees, it's great for our customers, it's great for the stockholder. And where we live and work, it's going to be great for those folks as well because it creates greater stability and more investments in the communities. So it's a pretty special deal. The more you learn about this, the more you get the truth about this deal, you go, oh my gosh. If we had to invent a transaction for the United States and somebody in Asia, this would be the deal. And you'd say, well, wouldn't it be really cool if we had a company that had the United States in its name? And wouldn't it be cool if we had a company that had Japan, Nippon in its name, bring them together? And oh, by the way, we'd like technology transfer to the United States, which is usually different. Usually we're transferring technology outside the United States. So more investment, more growth, more profits, more profit sharing, secure futures that we never envisioned. So there's so much brighter future for all the stakeholders that we have. It's a very special deal. It is the best deal we could have possibly imagined.
You sort of strayed into the next question I was going to ask, and I'll come back to you with this also, but let me ask you, Mori-san. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of concerns that have been raised that an iconic American company is being merged with a Japanese one. And how do you think about those concerns and how are you addressing them?
Well, the Nippon Steel has been successfully operating a steel facility in the United States for almost 40 years. The investment in United States steel is an expanded investment in America steel making. We will protect and grow jobs and keep U.S. steel production in the United States. America is growing and we want to invest in the growth of U.S. steel. We will achieve our global goals through continuing to strengthen U.S. steel.
Dave, anything you want to add about these concerns about selling an American company to a Japanese company?
Well, as I said, we weren't looking to sell the company. And actually, I was very surprised, and Mori-san knows this very well, that we got an offer from Nippon. It surprised me. But the more I learned, I've even said this, I said, why didn't I reach out to you earlier? Because the more I learn about this business, the more I get, my gosh, you can just see the power of what this brings together for us. And again, it's not just about the stockholders. This is a real important piece for our employees. And the more they learn about it, the more they love it.
Some people talk about this deal almost as if you were selling to a Chinese company. It's totally, completely, 100% different, right? This is one of our closest allies.
Yeah, it's a bit comical to equate the Japanese with the Chinese. I mean, the people that do that are not wanting the deal to succeed. It's what we always tell people, just get the truth.
Yeah.
Let the truth be told. Facts are friendly, dig deep. If we were trying to design a deal to do, we'd pick Japan, pick the United States, strengthen the alliance for us to be able to take on China, not just from a military type standpoint with somebody in the Asian theater, but also because of the steel that they actually produce in China. With this transaction, we basically create a formidable company that's going to be initially like the third largest, probably the second. And when the growth engine gets going, we could even move closer to the very top on this. I really believe it. It's that strong a transaction.
Right. It's really a way of competing more effectively with China.
Absolutely. Right. This actually strengthens competition.
I want to ask you both this, but Mori-san, let me ask you first. What do you think people most fail to understand about this deal?
Well, Nippon Steel has operated in the United States for decades. Also, there are significant benefits of this deal. To name a few, for U.S. Steel future, especially around job security and growth, our customers will be better served with technologically advanced products, advancing on our decarbonization goals together. Through this deal, we'll deliver clear benefits to the broader American steel industry and the United States as a whole.
We're going to talk a little bit more about decarbonization a little later, but Dave, is there anything you would add, things that people just don't get about this deal that they should
When I
understand?
get back to the theme we want people to really understand here is just get the truth. Because the more you learn about this deal, the more you'll come to realize it is so good for every one of the stakeholders.
Well, Mori-san, you oversee all the global operations of Nippon Steel, and you've done a lot of other international acquisitions and partnerships. What have you learned from some of those deals that might be helpful here?
We've learned that for our business to be successful, it is crucial to share common values and goals in the partnership. Without this, it is impossible to achieve the successful outcome of the partnership. That's why we strongly believe the partnership between U.S. Steel and Nippon Steel will surely succeed as we clearly have similar values and goals. We have also learned that we need to invest in the parts of the world that are growing for our success, like America.
Mori-san, the United Steelworkers Union, they have expressed some opposition. How have you addressed their concerns?
Nippon Steel is committed to working in collaboration with the USW for the benefit of its memberships. In fact, we have been working with them for years at our two facilities in Pennsylvania and West Virginia. We have made commitments on everything from pay and benefits to capital investment where the USW's members work, which will become legally binding upon the USW's signature. We remain ready to meet with the USW leadership to reaffirm our commitments and to discuss the future for USW-represented workers. The combined workforce is critical to our operations in the United States and globally.
So one of the biggest areas of confusion has been around Nippon's statement that jobs will be preserved through September 1st, 2026, which is the expiration date of the basic labor agreement with the USW. Can you clarify what that means?
Yeah. Simply, Nippon Steel is committed to preserve the jobs at U.S. Steel. Job security is a critical part of Nippon Steel's culture. To be clear, the commitments we have offered represent a significant protection that does not exist in the current BLA. The statement made about protecting jobs through at least September 1st, 2026, was simply referring to the fact that the terms of the BLA runs through September 1st. Because we have offered job protection as a commitment in enforceable agreement, we tied it to the BLA term consistent with the other commitments we have made. We certainly did not intend to signal we would engage in layoff after September 1st, 2026. Instead, this commitment will represent another major positive for workers and communities as a result of our partnership with U.S. Steel. We have committed the job preservation as part of this transaction, and our intention is to protect and grow U.S. Steel for the benefits of U.S. Steel workers, our customers, and the broader American steel industry and American as a whole.
Tell us how Nippon Steel approaches labor relations in its existing operations and how you plan to apply those principles to manage relationships with U.S. Steel's unionized workforce.
Well, the Nippon Steel has a long-standing and deep respect for its unionized and non-unionized employees and understand the critical role that the company's dedicated workforce plays in its future success. This is true not only in Japan, but also at its existing U.S. operations at Standard Steel and Wheeling Nippon Steel. In fact, in our latest round of union negotiations in Japan, we agreed to a 40% monthly salary increase. Any steelmakers know that great employee relation is a fundamental to its success, and it's certainly a key principle at Nippon Steel also.
Can you make specific commitments to reassure union employees that their jobs, wages, and benefits will be safeguarded under Nippon Steel's ownership?
Our aim is to protect and grow U.S. Steel in the U.S. market while prioritizing employees. To achieve this, Nippon Steel has provided significant commitments to the USW in writing, including honoring and assuring all labor agreements. That means that the compensation and benefits, including pension, will not change. These are significant commitments around pension security, capital investment, technology sharing, financial reporting, and the ability to enforce contractual obligations post-closing.
Both companies are well known for their values and their concern about safety. So, Mori-san, would you share a little more about Nippon Steel's values and why you think they're important and why it makes sense to merge with U.S. Steel given its values?
Okay. We have a strong history of safety at Nippon Steel. The relationship between Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel is based on mutual respect and shared goals, including safety first, environmental excellence, and strengthening our communities.
So, Mori-san, Nippon Steel has committed to investing in U.S. Steel facilities. Where will the investments be directed?
Oh, yes, our aim is to protect and grow U.S. Steel through the injection of investment and Nippon Steel's advanced technologies. Nippon Steel's additional capital investment of at least $1.4 billion from 2024 to 2026 will be at facilities covered by the labor agreement with the USW. Those spending commitments are above and beyond what the VLA calls for. We are also in the process of visiting many of these facilities with Nippon's top engineers to evaluate how best to deploy those capital investment at facilities where USW represented employees work.
Are there any plans to send the production of U.S. Steel overseas once the deal is concluded?
No, our plan is protect and grow U.S. Steel jobs. There will be no plant closures as well as a result of this transaction, and production and jobs will remain in America. We have committed in writing to the USW that we will not transfer any jobs or production to any overseas facilities. From the outset, our goal has been clear: to protect and grow U.S. Steel in the U.S. market for the benefit of all its stakeholders through increased investment and the contribution of our advanced technologies. The United States is a great market, and we want to be here.
Dave, you've talked about some of the opportunities that the deal presents. I want to ask both of you this question, but I'm going to start with you. Is a combined company likely to be able to grow faster, do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. When you have greater investment in the United States, you actually can grow faster. The pace by which we would grow with Nippon versus without Nippon is very different. We would be spending probably less on the integrated mills, more on the mini mills, and we would be unable to do it as quickly as what Nippon could do. They're experts in integrated mills. I think that's an important point. We are new to the mini mill environment, but that's something that we've been able to demonstrate, that we've got probably the best mini mill in the world at this point in time, most modern mini mill, and we're
Big
soon
River, you mean?
We're soon to double that capability very soon. So, but with them, we're so much better than without. Together, we're better.
So, Mori-san, what's your perspective on the combined company's ability to grow faster?
This combination means that we'll be best steelmaker with world-leading capabilities. We will be well-positioned to capitalize on the growing demand for high-grade steel, including automotive and electrical sheet steel, and provide excellent products and services to our direct customers and the end users.
Well, so now I want to ask a question about decarbonization, which is a really important issue to me and to the world. And you've both touched on elements of it. Let me start with you, Dave. Since both companies have a big commitment to decarbonize by 2050, which is very well stated, how would this deal impact your ability to do that and to decarbonize on that timetable?
Yeah, that's a really great question, David, because our strategy is built on best of both, best of the integrated mills and best of the mini mills. When you go to a mini mill environment, you immediately upon production, you reduce greenhouse gas emissions by between 70 and 80%. So we're on a good path there. As we grow that business, we get immediate reductions versus the integrated mill. When you're working at the integrated mills, of course, the facilities are older, but the technology is there. But we don't have the technology that Nippon is. Again, they're the best in the world. They've been doing carbon capture since, I think, 2014, a decade, far ahead of other companies. So the investment in the integrated mills will allow us to get to the carbon reduction that we desire, including things like hydrogen, which, by the way, that's a much longer journey because of the expense of hydrogen. Not that we can't do it or the capabilities, but it's going to take longer. And so if you have better investment in that space, you could actually do a lot better for the climate. So best of the mini mill, best of the integrated mills, together we get something that's best for all stakeholders.
And just so our listeners understand, integrated mill is a blast furnace kind of operation, a big old-fashioned type steel mill, which is so critical because certain things have to be made there, and yet it's so hard to decarbonize. But what you're saying is that Nippon has capabilities that are uniquely able to help move that faster.
That is exactly right. I like to talk about the integrated mills make steel by digging it out of the dirt. They make the virgin steel, and the mini mills do it by recycling. So the mini mills have lower greenhouse gas emissions, and they're faster. The integrated mills can do the higher end type steels. Integrated mills, they're here. They got a lot of life left in them. While at the same time doing the mini mill benefits too. That's where the best of both comes in. And again, to get back to when you're working with a company that's the best at the integrated mills, and they also have some EAFs, that gives us an opportunity to take the best of both, whether it be minis or an electric arc furnace or basic oxygen furnaces. A great collaborative opportunity here with Nippon being a leader in integrated mills.
Yeah, and it's one of the ironies of this climate challenge we face that steel is hard to decarbonize, but it is absolutely essential for a huge percentage of the climate-friendly infrastructure we need to build, transmission lines and all kinds of things that require steel. We cannot live without steel. So, Mori-san, what's your thinking about how the deal will impact U.S. Steel's ability to decarbonize?
Yes, Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel recognize that solving sustainability challenges is a fundamental pillar of a steelmaker's existence and growth. This will be a key area of collaboration post-closure. Nippon Steel is developing 3 breakthrough technologies which will be shared with U.S. Steel to progress towards its goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2050, namely hydrogen injection technology into blast furnace, high-grade steel production in large-size electrical arc furnaces, and hydrogen use in direct iron reduction process.
Well, those are all 3 really important directions to move. So I'd like to ask both of you a little bit about the community involvement that you both have had a long history of. So Dave, how do you see this deal changing or enhancing your ability to work with communities after the deal is completed?
Better.
Yeah.
Better, faster, stronger, more engaged.
Why?
Well, you have more money, you have people making more money, and they want to engage in the communities. We have a fantastic team in Slovakia that's very heavily engaged in the community. But you go through every one of our facilities, whether it be at Mon Valley, they're very close in their community. They're doing things from planting trees to raising funds for the Carnegie Library. You go to Minnesota, the people are heavily engaged in activities. Gary, Indiana, Great Lakes, Granite, Fairfield. You pick a plant, and these people are very much engaged in the community, but they'd like to do more. And the way you do more is you grow the business. you have more investment. You give them the opportunity with more people, more jobs, more security, more opportunity to do great things for the community. This is where it ends up being the check the box win.
That's a lot of wins. Mori-san, talk about Nippon's thoughts and approach to working with communities and how that might affect this deal.
Well, the Nippon Steel is committed to maintain and growing strong relationship with U.S. Steel surroundings communities and is committed to being a productive member of these communities. I know that U.S. Steel's operation assets and facilities have been the lifeblood of families and communities for more than 100 years. Our goal is for Pennsylvania and the other communities where U.S. Steel operates to succeed alongside us, and we look forward to investing in and working with its communities and research institutes. In recent weeks, I have traveled to several U.S. Steel communities and have had great experiences. There are truly wonderful communities, and I love them very much.
So, Mori-san, how do you think Nippon can preserve the legacy and brand of U.S. Steel, even as you're integrating your own company's practices going forward?
Well, Nippon Steel values and respect U.S. Steel's legacy and its brand. We will retain its name, its headquarters, its operations, your jobs, and many other things that make U.S. Steel what it has been for over 100 years. And our goal is to help it succeed for the next 100 years. So we will bring investment and advanced technologies to strengthen the company while sharing similar values and focus around safety, community, and the environment. We are very excited to partner with U.S. Steel and work with tremendous talented steel workers at the company for generations to come.
Wow. Well, we're wrapping up, but I'd just love to invite both of you to share any final thoughts that maybe we could have talked about that we didn't get to, or just big picture thoughts about the deal. Dave, final thoughts.
I just say better, faster, stronger. Being the best steel maker with world's leading capabilities. Our future together is extraordinarily bright, and I look forward to getting to the future faster with you.
Yeah. Thank you, David. That's the exact words I would like to say.
Well, thank you both. You both have said a lot of really great stuff. I think our listeners and viewers, if they listen carefully, they have learned an enormous amount about the value and the potential of this deal. I know I have learned an enormous amount, and I want to thank everybody for listening to this special edition of Steel Stories, and I hope you'll join us again on Steel Stories as we continue this podcast series. Thanks so much.
Steel Stories is brought to you by US Steel. To find out more about our sustainable steel solutions and how our Best for All strategy allows us to re-envision the future alongside our customers, visit www.ussteel.com. Search for US Steel in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss a future episode. On behalf of the team here at US Steel, thanks for listening.